So what's it been like, this trip to Monaco? Have you had a chance to catch up with some other big stars from the 70s and 80s?
You know, one of the wonderful things about award shows and festivals is that you get to see people that you sometimes miss, and particularly having a history of, you know, particularly for me, the iconics that are here, as well as the new people in television and supporting them. But we get a chance to smile and reminisce and share stories, which is wonderful, and also to show that the young people who are coming along, that we have a tradition of caring about each other, of having a community that works and is sustainable. So this is and also to be part of the history of Monaco Television Festival, you know, started by Prince Rainier, and now, you know, the legacy passed on to Prince Albert. And to support that kind of work and to be a part of something that has gained the respect of the television community and of artists everywhere, to be chosen to come here is certainly, it's been an honor, and I'm enjoying every moment.
When you look back at your years on Starsky and Hutch, why do you think the show was so successful around the world?
I think it was because of, it was a show that was so timely. There were only 3 or 4 networks in the States at the time, and even less in Europe, and they sort of imported the best of shows. It just became syndications that started to get going, and so Starsky and Hutch came at a time where you had 2 good-looking guys, rebel cops who did things their own way, who cared about each other. And that was, I think, the foundation of the show, was that you had 2 hip cats who cared about each other, and that relationship, was a relationship show. And I think that resonated with young people who were looking for direction and the possibilities of saying that I could do something like that. And then you had, you know, the car, the clothes, the music, and a strange cat named Huggy Le Bon Trio, Huggy Bear, played by moi. And it's just amazing that this is the 40th year since we did the pilot, and we're still talking about Starsky and Hutch and how much it's resonated. And that relationship thing comes to fore for me because I did a play, one of many in England, and I had to take a taxi to the theater every day in this small city, and to also have a wonderful theater community and network in the UK. And inevitably, every one of those taxi drivers said, "Antonio, you don't have to pay me for this trip, because I just want to thank you for what you did for me growing up. When I watched Starsky and Hutch, I had to do my homework, take my bath, to join my parents, in order to join them to watch this import of something that was really different and sort of in the forefront of a lot of the shows like Miami Vice and Dukes of Hazzard and some of the other shows." So I think that, and also it's the power of television, you know, the power of television, because I could do a play for 5 years, 10 years, full houses, and not reach as many people as a syndicated show like Starsky and Hutch on one evening. I did a movie that was featured at the Cannes Film Festival with a movie star, and in walking the Croisette and also on the red carpet, he was so surprised and didn't understand why everybody knew me, were falling out because here was Huggy Le Bon Trio, and they didn't know him at all because he was just a movie star. And so the television that goes in people's homes, it raises their children and all of that, is a special, special phenomenon, a special, special relationship that's enduring.
What about the shoots? How are the shoots today on TV shows different than it was when you were doing Starsky and Hutch?
Well, it's a different world. It's a different format. We were talking about some of the other iconics. We're talking about, well, when when we were doing the show, we didn't allow our children to watch the TV and all of those kind of things because of violence or the subject matter. I mean, we had touched some subject matter on Starsky and Hutch, like drugs and prostitution and stuff like that, which were very controversial at the time. And now, what's happening in life is much more dangerous, if anything, for our kids to have to endure every day, and they don't get the relief by watching TV anymore because you have the same kind of things in terms of reality shows and all the things that are. So it's a different world, and but I accept that. I accept that. Those are the challenges that people have today in terms of that the communicator that television is, to be able to shape, to elect presidents, to to change people's minds, to give them an opinion, and all of that. And I just think it's I'm glad that it's sort of the sunset of my journey, and I'm really an old school guy who likes living in the memories.